Hey guys, this is Justin at the Survivor Review, and when it comes to modern horror, no filmmaker is as divisive as Rob Zombie. Some people love his films, others do not. I'm right in the middle there. I've done nearly 30-minute rants about how much I hate his two Halloween films, but when it comes to his other work, I love Devil's Rejects. I think it's a legitimate great film, I just think it's awesome. But his other stuff, like House of a Thousand Corpses, I didn't like, and Lords of Salem was okay. But that aside, I still go into a new Rob Zombie production with interest. I don't go into his movies expecting total crap, but I don't go into them expecting greatness either. So today I'm going to be talking about his latest film, 31. Which is a movie I've been following since its inception, since it was announced, and I followed it all throughout production, because again, it's a new Rob Zombie movie, I'm still intrigued. And I finally got around to seeing it. I wasn't able to see it in theaters at that special one-night screening, but I finally got around to seeing it, and well, it was kind of crappy, to be honest. It wasn't awful, it was just okay. What sucks about it is that it feels like a step back for Rob Zombie. Because one of the things I really appreciated about Lords of Salem was how different it was from his other films. It wasn't about white trash rednecks. There wasn't overabundance of terrible juvenile dialogue, which is F this, F that, all that kind of crap. So I really liked that. I really thought this was him, learning more as a filmmaker and getting better. This movie kind of goes back to his typical trope of stuff. And that really is disappointing. Though it's not the huge step backwards I thought it was going to be, it still has that great visual flair that Lords of Salem had. And it still has that going for it. This movie is still really well shot and there's a lot of good visuals to it. So it has that, but it's still just kind of your typical Rob Zombie stuff, and that kind of sucks. So the plot of the movie, it takes place on Halloween in 1976 and follows these 5 carnival workers who are just on the road. They end up getting kidnapped by these crazy people and put in this compound where for 12 hours they have to fight their way through a ton of psychopathic killers in an effort to get out of there. So what works about this movie? There are a good amount of positives when it comes to the film. The cast is okay. The main 5 people aren't anything special, the main heroes. But when it comes to the villains of the movie, you have Malcolm McDowell playing the head of this game, who basically conducts the entire thing. And despite his character literally having no character, I'm not even sure if he has a name, he was fun because he's Malcolm McDowell. So no matter what, he was entertaining and fun to watch whenever he was on screen. But aside from him, there's this one character that steals the show and is the complete highlight of the film, and that is the character of Doomhead. I can't think of the actor's name right now. I've seen him in a ton of stuff. He was Joe Chill in Batman Begins, but he just kills it in this role. The opening scene is him just delivering this monologue to a character who he has tied down and is just about to kill. And most of it's just like this one shot of him, just a close-up of his face, right up to the camera, just giving this monologue, and he's just creepy and scary. And then he doesn't appear till the last half of the movie. He doesn't appear at all in the middle. And when he appears again, the movie picks back up. And I love his character. His character should have been in more of the film. Again, I like how you actually see him outside of the game. And you see how his life is out there. He's still freaking crazy. But that was intriguing. He has this, when he's not in the game going after the people, he has this weird, this creepy calmness to him. Where he just plays off kind of cool sometimes. And I like that. I really liked his character. I thought he was the highlight of the film and the most memorable part of the movie. Probably one of the most memorable horror characters to come out of a movie this year, actually. The set design and the costume design in this movie are all really good. They're all really well done. There's a lot of great visuals in this film, a lot of stuff that's shot really well, a lot of great imagery that kind of harkens back to some of the weird, surreal stuff that Zombie did in Lords of Salem, or even in his dream sequences in Halloween 2, which were one of the few little things I liked about that film. And so I like that. I like the visual look to this film. It's definitely unique and definitely different than most horror films that are out right now. I like the climax of this film. That's when the movie really picks up. And of course that's when Doomhead comes into the picture. But I like that ending. I thought it was really well done. I was actually invested in the ending of the film. But the thing about a lot of this movie is, despite Malcolm McDowell and the actor playing Doomhead, I really didn't care for the rest of the cast. I did not care for the main heroes of this movie at all. I'm not saying they were badly acted. The acting of them was perfectly fine, and like most of Zombie's films, his wife, Sheri Moon Zombie, is the main character, and to be honest, this is my thought on her for a while now. I still don't think she's that bad. I know there's a lot of hate for her, and a lot of people don't like her. I think she's okay. I've never had a real problem with her as an actor. The only problem I had with her was in Lord's Asylum when she had to carry the movie on her own. Whenever she has to carry the movie, that's when her acting falters. But when she's a supporting character in a big ensemble movie, I still think she's fine. Have no real problem with her. Though I wish she wasn't the main character. I wish the other female character played by Meg Foster was the main character. She was really good. She was badass. She took out most of the bad guys, to be honest. So she should have been the main character. But again, the rest of the cast is okay. I don't really care for them. The problem with this movie is that there is no tension. The movie felt really flat. About halfway through it, I'm like, I should be on the edge of my seat. This should be a really tension-filled cat and mouse game. Like these people stuck in this place being hunted down by these killers and have to find their way out. But the movie just felt flat. I was not invested in anything. The rest of the killers are kind of just annoying, kind of stupid. You got a Spanish Nazi dwarf, which is kind of weird and as out there at first, but as the scenes progress, he gets more and more annoying. I'm like, fuck it. Got two hillbilly clown characters with chainsaws, which were just annoyed the hell out of me. They were just stupid, and they had some of the worst dialogue. This movie has a lot of that bad Rob Zombie dialogue, where it's just juvenile, a bunch of crap like that is just stupid dialogue that felt like a teenager wrote it. This movie at times just felt like a best of compilation of Rob Zombie tropes, because a lot of stuff in this movie he's done before. There's even stuff he does trying to make us sympathize with the characters by showing 8mm home movies of them just hanging out and stuff. Just like he's done before in Devil's Rejects, and it's just I've seen you do this before. Just do something new, and that's what kind of annoyed me. Also, aside from those moments where it is visually good and shot really well, some of the camera work in this movie is awful. Whenever there's an action scene going on, whenever people are fighting, it's this awful shaky cam that's worse than the Bourne movies, to be honest. And I just was taken aback by that, because I've never really had a problem with Rob Zombie's camera work. It gets a little shaky at times in Devil's Rejects, but in stuff like Lords of Salem, I thought was beautifully shot. So I was really taken aback by that when all of a sudden there'd be a fight scene, people are being attacked, and the camera just keeps constantly shaking. There's a part where it would just be a standoff, and the camera is still shaking. I'm like, nothing is even happening. Stop moving the camera. And I thought that was awful. Half the time I couldn't tell what was happening. Who was being attacked, who was being stabbed. I couldn't even tell who was dying, because you just see a random close-up of a knife stabbing somebody in the stomach, and you'd be like, wait, who's that? And they also have a body falls. I couldn't tell what body that was until the ending of the scene stops and shows a freeze frame of who's dead, and you're like, oh, okay, that person died. I thought that camera work was just awful. So overall, would I recommend this movie? Maybe. I don't think it's god awful. I'm not gonna look back at this movie as oh god, Rob Zombie's 31. No, it's not an awful film. I thought it was a lot of wasted potential, because I actually liked the storyline for this movie. I liked the premise behind it, and I thought it could work, especially with Rob Zombie's style and his just out there kind of vision of stuff. I thought it could have worked. It just had some bad writing, bad camera work. Again, I don't even remember the characters' names of the main characters of this film. I don't know any of their names, to be honest. The only character's name in the movie I know is Doomhead. So I might recommend it as a rental if you just want to get together with some friends, watch some over-the-top gore, because there's some over-the-top gore in this movie that's pretty just crazy. Maybe it's worth a rental just for one night, but it's not a movie you're going to want to go back to ever revisit. It's not one of Rob Zombie's greatest, which, he only has one great movie in my opinion. It's not up there with that, but it's not nearly as bad as some of his awful films. I recommend Lords of Salem over this, I think. That movie, I don't really recommend Lords of Salem much to begin with, but Lords of Salem at least has more going on for it than this film. So out of 10, I'd probably give it a 4.5 out of 10, but I'm going to bump it up to a 5 out of 10 just for Doomhead, because he's such an awesome character that I want to see more of. I love to see a movie just focused on that character. There's a little part of me that's kind of disappointed, because I followed the production of this movie, and I thought it was going to be more than what I got. I was expecting a bit more to it, especially after Lords of Salem. And then what we were seeing from the behind-the-scenes stuff, I thought this was going to be a much more unique film than what we got. If you're a Rob Zombie fan and you like all of his previous films, you will definitely like this. Don't let my review put you down. If you're a fan of all of his other work, you will enjoy this film. This is one of those frustrating movies because it has a lot of good things going for it. A lot of great sets, a lot of great visuals, a great premise. But it's just the execution and the writing that just pulls it back down, and that's really disappointing when that happens with the movie. So it just didn't do it for me. Either way, that's about all I have to say about 31. I will be back to talk about a classic horror franchise that has a new installment coming out soon. But until then, I'll talk to you guys later.